everyone, I'm Vince Castiglione. I'm the General Counsel for Tata Consumer Products US. It's the food and beverage business in the US for Tata, 8 o'clock coffee, Tetley tea, Good Earth teas, and so forth. I have a very keen interest in insurance from a number of different jobs I've had over my career. But insurance forms part of what I do for Tata Consumer Products, and I find the Anderson Kill conferences incredibly beneficial. They cover a wide variety of topics, coverage issues, special issues. We learned about fire exclusions today, and it's just a great place to come and network with very knowledgeable people, terrific attorneys, and just get the latest and greatest on what's happening in the area. So thank you so much, Anderson Kill, for hosting us and putting on a wonderful conference.
I thought that the Anderson Hill Policyholder Conference was exceptional. I learned a ton about emerging issues, particularly with regard to artificial intelligence, including how different policy issues and coverage issues might impact that emerging field, and also a ton about things that will be helpful for cases like the reasonable expectations of an insured and how to handle natural disasters, which is becoming increasingly prevalent. So I'm very thankful to have been able to attend.
Hey, I'm Ann Longmore with Marshall McLennan Agency in the Northeast region. I had a really great morning today at the conference hosted by Anderson Kill. I particularly like that combination of basic building blocks of insurance interpretation and then the leading kind of bleeding edges as well, like artificial intelligence, reps and warranties. So it keeps everybody crisp. Anderson Kill sees the things that go bump in the night. So when they have lessons to share, we all need to listen.
Hi, I'm Carrie DeCanio. I'm an attorney at Anderson Kill, and today I spoke with Sumit Agrawal about trends in representations and warranties insurance underwriting.
Despite market volatility, the product is still actively used on transactions, both M&A transactions and tax. Despite an increase in claims, insurers still remain interested in placing the product on transactions in today's market.
And today we discussed a few things in addition to underwriting trends, including language that policy language that policyholders should be attuned to when placing the insurance.
Hi, I'm Bill Pasanante, and we just had our New Jersey Policyholder Advisor Conference. I spoke on the issue of artificial intelligence and its impact on insurance claims. There's lots to talk about in the area, both with regard to the artificial intelligence technology, as well as recent developments in insurance law. We had a great session, lots of questions, and I think everyone enjoyed it.
Hello, my name is Dave Riggs. I've been attending various conferences with Anderson Kill for going on 20 years now. They are always very insightful, up to the minute, going through the insurance coverages and current legal cases. That brings you up to date and gives you relevant information for coverages, the policies, and what may or may not be excluded, and gives you good insight into the insurance industry and your insurance coverage.
Sure, I'm Ron Papa with NFA, and we just had the opportunity to speak at the 13th Annual New Jersey Anderson Kill Policyholders Symposium, and it was an excellent time to be here and had a lively discussion on coverages and just trying to explain to the audience, different people, there's different ways to look at claims and how sometimes claims are able to be covered as long as you're using the correct vantage point.
Yeah, Dennis Ortiz with Anderson Kill. It was a pleasure to be joined by Ron for this. Our topic was fire, floods, other natural disasters. Very timely. We've got major global catastrophic losses, over $56 billion in this first quarter. And a lot of it's driven by the wildfires. We talked quite a bit about smoke damage claims and whether those will be covered. There's interruption losses resulting from smoke damage. We got to talk about flood losses and whether flood sublimits might apply to your particular loss and flood exclusions.
Multiple occurrences,
Yep.
things like that.
Multiple occurrences from back-to-back storms. Very interesting conversation. Everyone's lively participation, and we're thankful for the opportunity.
When I first started in the business, about 90% of our business was fire, 10% everything else. Now it's just the opposite. 90% everything else, 10% fire. It's amazing how the world is changing.
Hi, I'm Joshua Gold from Anderson Kill. I represent corporate policyholders, and this morning I gave a discussion on cyber insurance issues, primarily on some of the liability issues, but almost every serious cyber event these days is usually multifaceted, meaning that you've got both liability risk and you've got first-party expenses and loss as a result. So Verizon came out with its report the other day about cyber events that it's been tracking over the last year, and not shockingly, if you stay attuned to the headlines and keep abreast of cyber risk, just about every metric is trending in the worst way possible when it comes to cyber crime and even just data handling that may not necessarily involve a threat actor. The only category that was somewhat down was ransomware payments, but ransomware attacks were actually on the increase. So again, it goes to show this is a very turbulent environment. Every business is at risk. Every individual is at risk in terms of safeguarding their information, whether you're a business like SolarWinds or an individual who's given information to 23andMe. Data is out there and thieves are actively trying to compromise it, steal it, monetize it, put it on the dark web, or demand some type of extortion in exchange for giving it back or not making it further public than it already is. So again, policyholders have to be certainly super vigilant in this environment. And in addition, obviously consider your insurance coverage across the board. Obviously, cyber insurance products, those products that are dedicated and sold to protect against cyber risk, are invaluable these days. So you will have insurance coverage typically for first-party loss, like the expenses of responding to a breach event, hiring forensic consultants to come in and do the triage work and the assessment work, getting defense attorneys for privacy class action litigation, perhaps regulatory expenses, and then you'll obviously have third-party and first-party coverage risk for the ultimate aftermath of a serious cyber event, like business interruption coverage, like restoration of the network and repair costs. So there's a lot to unpackage there, but don't ever forget to also give notice to your other insurance companies that may sell you D&O coverage, E&O coverage, crime coverage, property coverage, CGL coverage. All of those policies may come into play, be relevant, and be responsive. It really is an all-hands-on-deck approach when dealing with a serious cyber event. Thanks very much.
Hi, I'm Steve Prudell.
And I'm Christina Youssef.
And we're speaking from Anderson Kill's 13th Annual New Jersey Policyholders Conference. Today we spoke about the Reasonable Expectations Doctrine and ambiguity. The Reasonable Expectations Doctrine is that policyholders who buy insurance coverage have the right to the policy that they thought they bought. And the courts should interpret those policies to meet those expectations.
As to ambiguity, it's important to remember that courts will construe ambiguous policy provisions in favor of the non-drafting party, that is, the policyholder. But keep in mind that courts will also take into consideration the factual context of the loss when making those determinations.